we're going to look at subtracting real numbers. Now when we do this, we need to review what an additive inverse is. Now remember, that is just the opposite of a number. So if I have 6, the additive inverse would be -6. So when I add those two together, it's going to give me 0. Now if I had -2, the opposite of it's 2. And if you add -2 and 2 together, you're going to get your 0. Now, subtraction is what we call the inverse of addition. They like undo each other. So if you add something to undo it, you would subtract it. Now we can add using or subtract using a number line as one way to do it. Now if I have 2 minus 6, this just means I'm going to start at 2 and I'm taking 6 away from 2, so I'm going to move left 6. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I end at -4, so that's going to be my answer. Now if I have -1 minus 4, I start at -1 and I'm going to still go left 4. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and my answer would be -5. Now remember, when you subtract a number, you're going left. Another way you can subtract a real number is by using integer chips. Now in the addition video, we talked about the open circle is positive and the closed circle are negative. So one closed circle is a -1 and one open circle is representing a +1. So if I have two chips, an open and a closed circle, that's going to give me a 0 pair, which is basically 0 when I add them together. Now, this first one, I have 3 minus -5. Now, in the beginning, I put my 3 positive chips down, but I don't have -5 chips to take away. So, in order to get 5 negative chips to take away, I've got to add 0 pairs. Now, when I add these 5 0 pairs, I'm just adding 0 5 times, and I'm still going to have 3. So then when I have these put together, I can take away my 5 negative chips, and what's left are 8 positive chips. In this one, I start off with -6. So I have 6 negative chips. Now that doesn't give me enough to take away 10 negative chips, or a -10. So to do that, I need to add in 0 pairs. So I add in 4 0 pairs, so I have enough negative chips to take away. When I do that, I'm just adding 0 to it, so I'm not changing anything. Now when I need to take away 10 negative chips, take these 6 away and these 4, that gives me 10, I'm left with 4 positive chips. So my answer is going to be a +4. This last one, I have 4 positive chips and I need to take away 5. Well, I don't have that 5th positive chip to take away, so I need to add just 1 0 pair. So I can take away now my 4 positive there, my 5th positive there, and it's left me with 1 negative chip. So that's my answer, -1. Now, a rule when going with subtracting real numbers is we like to subtract a number, we're going to add its opposite. So this is where that keep change comes into place, or the keep flip change. Sometimes you'll hear that. So basically, if I have 3 minus 5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my 3. My subtraction sign flips or changes to an addition, and my 5, that's positive, becomes a -5. So now, because we've already learned how to add integers, I know that I take these two, take the absolute value, which is 3 and 5, and then I subtract those, it gives me 2, and I take the sign of the higher absolute value, which would be a -2. Now the second one, -4 minus a -9. I'm going to keep my -4, my subtraction becomes addition, my -9 becomes a +9, and I add these two. Now, -4 plus 9 is going to give me a +5 because I take the difference of their absolute values, and 9 is larger absolute value, so it's going to be a +5. And this last one, 8 minus a negative 4. Keep the 8, change the subtraction to addition, negative 4 to a positive 4. And we all know how to do 8 plus 4, and that's just 12. Alright, so this time we're going to simplify these expressions. So I have negative 5 minus negative 1. Use my rule, keep, change, change. So it's going to be negative 5 keeps, the subtraction goes to addition, and the negative 1 becomes a positive 1. So negative 5 plus 1 is going to be negative 4. Now the next one is 7 minus 9. Do the same thing. Keep, change, flip. 7 stays the same. Negative or minus becomes a plus. Positive 9 becomes a negative 9. And 7 plus negative 9 is going to give me a negative 2. This last one, negative 2 minus 3. Keep the negative 2, change the subtraction to addition, and the positive 3 to a negative 3. And negative 2 plus a negative 3 is going to give me a negative 5. Now, this is the absolute value of 7 minus 1. So first thing I've got to do is the 7 minus 1. Now, keep the absolute value bars. I do 7 minus 1. Remember, keep, change, flip. 7 stays the same. Subtraction becomes addition. And the positive 1 becomes a negative 1. So now I have 7 plus negative 1. That's going to give me the absolute value of 6. And the absolute value of 6 is 6. This next one, same thing as in number 4. I have to do what's inside the absolute value bars before I can answer the absolute value. So I'm going to leave my absolute value bars, keep negative 3, the minus goes to plus, and this negative 5 becomes a positive 5. Now, negative 3 plus 5 is a 2. So I still have to take the absolute value of 2, which is 2. This last one, 4 minus 10. Take the absolute value. So we leave the absolute value. We have the 4. Subtraction becomes addition. The positive 10 becomes negative 10. And now I have 4 plus negative 10, which is negative 6. I still need to take the absolute value. And the absolute value of negative 6 is 6. So your answer is 6. This last one, we're taking our subtraction real numbers and we're going to put it into using it with evaluating expressions. So this first one, I have the absolute value of a plus b. A is going to be negative 2, b is 4. So I plug them in. I have the absolute value of a, which is negative 2, plus b, which is 4. We know negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So I still have my absolute value bars. And the absolute value of 2 is 2. Okay, for this next one, 4b minus a. I'm going to stick in, I do 4 times b, which is 4, minus a, and remember a is negative 2. 4 times 4 is 16. So I have 16 minus negative 2. Remember, keep, change, flip. Or keep, change, change. So 16 plus, instead of subtraction, and this negative 2 becomes a positive 2. And 16 plus 2 is going to be 18. This last one, absolute value of a minus absolute value of b. So absolute value of negative 2 minus the absolute value of 4. Now, the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So now I have 2 minus 4. Keep, change, change. So I get 2 plus negative 4, and 2 plus negative 4 is going to be negative 2.